Hello, everybody, and welcome to OUIJA Wednesday. I am Sapphire Sandalo, and welcome to my Twitch. Hello, none of your business. I remember you from last time. Brandon and Ghoul, Kiki, Kiki Toma, Anime Geek 124, Aiden Rosales 1305. How are you all doing on this fine Wednesday? Wednesdays are such a great day. Am I in a closet? I just realized this is the first time that I've done OUIJA Wednesday in here. So no, this is my sound booth. Paid very good money for this to be built in my home because I was so tired of doing recording. Like I record so much and my neighborhood is like the noisiest neighborhood. So it's like, all right, it's worth it. Anyways, that's enough about that because you don't care about that. Tonight, I have a really awesome guest. Why? She's one of my great friends. I said great friends. Alyx, you can hear me. Oh no, I said her name. You already know who it is. I met her a couple years ago and we were working on a show together and we bonded over magic and deep stuff. I feel like every time I have a conversation with her, I learn something new and I feel like I grow. Yeah, she's an awesome person. She is also an animator and a storyboard artist currently working on Bob's Burgers and The Great North. She's kind of a big deal. And she's also, she wanted me to say she may or may not be a white witch, but she is a witch. So give. I haven't even been drinking that much and I'm already just like, woo! All right, give it up for Alyx Jolivet.
Oh my God, I got a singing intro. You crack me up. Like, I swear to God, Saf, you crack me up. And you inspire me too. You're like one of my biggest and greatest expanders.
Expanders?
Yeah, you expand. To me, the word expansion or expander, it's like when I look at you, I see the things that you pull in. You know, that you create. And I say, I can do that too. And she inspires me to do that.
Aww.
Yeah. So it's like I look at all these projects you're constantly working on. And I always say, yeah, I can do that. If she can do it, I can do it. I just choose not to right now.
If she can do it, I can do it.
The thing is that, like, for you to be an expander, you actually have to be higher than me. Because you're expanded to that size. So it's like a role model, you know, except instead of me just admiring you, I work myself to that level.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to use that now. Thank you for sharing.
LA New Age style.
I love it. Yeah. None of your business says. I just want to say Alyx and Sapphire. Y'all are so pretty.
Damn, none of y'all business. Thank you.
Just before we went live, I was looking at my face and I was like, without makeup, I feel like I look like a child.
No. I'm sorry. That's like the lamest complaint. Without my makeup, I just look so youthful.
I just look youthful.
I look so youthful.
Well, when I say child, I'm like when I was an awkward child, like an awkward 12-year-old. That's what I mean. Not like a cute kid.
Whatever. You were a cute kid. I've seen pictures.
I was a very cute kid. And there's just like a period in the middle where just like, what happened? But that's like everyone.
This is such a good slide into what we are going to talk about.
That is true.
No, not that it's true. That like loving your body.
Yes. So last time we met up in person, safely, guys, don't come after me.
Yes,
we hung out very safely.
We hadn't seen another human being until then. Not sure.
I know. You had mentioned that you are doing, I don't remember if I remember what you called it exactly. You said you're doing a lot of body work, or was that what you called it? Embodiment. Okay. So tell us what that means.
My pleasure. So the thing, I'm trying to like boil it down because I did not do a Cliff Notes version of this conversation. what it is, if you look at, by the way, Lynn, the last person you interviewed, amazing.
She's the best.
She's the best. So I bring her up because I do a lot of study with occultism, spirituality, religion, history. Like that shit fascinates me. And one could argue that I'm constantly chasing wisdom. Hence why I don't fight against the title of witch, because witch literally
isn't that the definition?
Wise woman. And that's all I do is I'm constantly studying. And so one thing that's very principal to occultism, witchcraft, say what you will, is our relationship to our bodies. And something that I have recognized the last year is just how freaking disconnected we are to our bodies. We're so disconnected. Our bodies don't belong to us. It's like, I have to lose weight. I have to cut this. I have to cut that. I'm going to smoke a bunch of marijuana. I'm going to drink a lot of alcohol. I want him. I want her. I want this relationship, that. I have to change something physically about myself so I look a certain way. I wish I had her body. We're so disconnected from this and the feeling of it. We're obsessed with the appearance, but not what this feels like. And this is what we were born with and what we will always have. And so a lot of my studies recently is to get out of here and to literally drop into the rest of me.
Yeah, I get that.
Right? Right? So if you think about it, like a lot of people, they'll go into marijuana, alcohol, you're numbing your sensations. You're numbing yourself. Or they will, I always hear about, like, let me think here, like exercising super hard. You're not doing it to feel the feeling of exercise. You're doing it for like your idea of what you want to be, not how you feel. We are so disconnected that once you do attach and you do a lot of body work and you really feel what it's like to taste chocolate, or you just like, all you do is you stroke your arm. I did this once, stroke your arm for like 30 minutes to the point where it just, you're like, I can't do this anymore. Like, and you just like feel like your thigh and you focus all your attention on your thigh. Like the more in touch you are with your nervous system, the more you are able to really feed and take care of your body. Like you won't overeat because your body will be like, I'm not hungry anymore. What are you doing? Or you will eat because your body's like, I'm hungry. What the fuck are you doing? You'll drink water because you're thirsty. And so the more you take care of your body, the less you are going to crash. And right now, in this time of high intense stress that we're in, we really, really need to start having a conversation with our bodies because our bodies are screaming at us right now.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I, for the first time, have a healthy relationship with my body, more so than like I've ever had. And I think a huge part of it is also the work I've been doing in therapy. So like I started therapy last year in like November because I was starting to have panic attacks a lot. And I was just like, I would just literally be standing somewhere or like walking my dog and all of a sudden like my heart started beating fast and I'm like, something's wrong. But like I wouldn't be feeling nervous. So I thought it was something like physical. And it turns out like there is some, like after I went to the doctor and like all this stuff, it's like, oh, I just have high blood pressure. So now I'm like on medication to like tame it. But like now that I'm able to calm my anxious feelings a little easier, it's easier for me to pay attention to like my body and what I'm feeling. And also, I don't know. Because it's like, I'm not so much like in here. I'm able to.
Like, especially in our culture, we're taught if you don't work hard enough, you won't get it. If you don't reach that dream, you won't get it. If you don't do this, do. The body can't do. The body has to sleep for 8 hours. Like if your body says, let's just chill the fuck out. Okay, you know what? I'm listening to you. We'll chill. we'll chill. And if the body's like, I kind of feel restless and bored, then you're like, you know what? I feel you. We're going to move a little bit. Because the more that the body can trust you, it's like the world and magic just opens. It's a gateway. This is the gateway. It's not, I mean, you can ask for help from your ancestors, from spirits, from stories, from gods. Like you can get
it all here.
The thing is that your ancestors speak in your DNA. The story, the mythos, all of that, it's all this.
I think that's probably one of the most important things I've learned in the past like year or so, is how strong, or like how literally everything that you just listed, like gods, ancestors, whatever you want to call it, it's like we have a tendency to think of it as something other than ourselves, and we forget that like it is literally in us. And I was oh man, so I did these like test sessions with a life coach. I knew him in college, and he just reached out. I didn't reach out. Sorry. Shout out to Jomar Gomez if anyone's looking for a life coach. He's actually really great, and I want to share something that he taught me because I thought it was really cool. And so when was this? This was last year. I was still like pretty much unemployed. I had quit my job a while ago, and I was kind of like freaking out about a lot of stuff. And and he did this like exercise with me where he was just like, okay, so I presented like my problem, like, you know, what are you like worried about, blah 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 blah. And then he just made me like sit for like 2 minutes, just sit with it. And just like kind of, you know, whatever thoughts come and go, whatever. And then 2 minutes later, all of a sudden I had a solution to the problem. And he was like, 2 minutes ago, you were convinced that you had no idea what to do. So what changed? And I was like, I don't know. I listened to my intuition. He was like, what is that? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, isn't it amazing that every person has this built in our bodies?
It's our
compass. And so it's like the issue that we have today is because we don't take the time to slow down and listen to what our body is saying. We try to find the answers in like other external things. I don't know. That like changed my life. I was just like, whoa.
Because once you get in touch with the body and you regulate this experience of working with your mind and body, like really balancing them out, you learn to be in flow. You learn this crazy balance of go and flow. So you learn to really achieve your dreams because you're dancing with the conscious and the unconscious. And it's interesting because like one thing that I learned through my studies of Carl Jung, Marion Woodward, a lot of my I have a lot of friends who are witches, you know, and one thing that I've gleaned is the body the body likes to talk to you, and not just like right now while we're awake. The body really loves to have a conversation with you when you're asleep. In dreams.
And speaking of dreams, that was a really good transition. Look at you.
Yeah, well, the thing is that dreams, like this year especially, dreams have fascinated me because I realized that, like, for one, when we go to sleep and we dream, we're also processing in our minds like what to keep and what not to keep. It's like a filing system. It's a cache, you know, and at the other end of it, our bodies are literally having a conversation with us. And the only way that the body can talk to you is like through sensation, of course. But when you're in dreamland, through symbols. It communicates through symbols. And recently I've been paying attention just over these last month of some very intense, incredibly vivid dreams. Some of them with a dream tea that I've brewed myself, and others because my body's just naturally responding that way. And some of these dreams literally calculate a trajectory of that my life will take 3 weeks ahead of time. And I'm just like, how did that happen? Is this prophetic? And sometimes I wonder if it's just that the body, and this is not scientific, this is just my own belief, recently, very recently, that the body is literally in a synergy, kind of like how birds migrate north, that the body knows where you're going, and it's showing you a map, the only way that it knows how. When you consciously are like crushing it down just so you can function in the world in a way that you think is healthy. So, for example, about 3-ish weeks ago, I had this extraordinary dream around the time that a relationship was ending. And the dream was like, and I'll do it brief, because the thing is that sometimes when you go off on dreams, people are like, that's really boring. But I think I've gotten too far.
Just give us the important bits, yeah.
So it turned into a Hunger Games situation where everyone was stabbing each other to death. And when they were trying to come towards me, I'd grab a knife and hit them in the heart, hit them in the heart, hit them in the heart. And then in the second portion of the dream, I was changing my dress into one of my favorite rose dresses. Mm-hmm. And an ex from a while back came in and embarrassed me. And I was just like shocked, followed by an earthquake that destroyed everything around me. And then when I felt like I was at my lowest, I looked up and there's this gorgeous griffin that swooped down, and I hopped on its back and I flew the fuck out. And so what makes this, we'll follow this with another dream that happened 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. Okay, 2 weeks later. So the same relationship. I think it's important to bring up the fact that this is a relationship, because like when we're in relation with someone else, especially an intimate relationship, our body is literally open to another person. So there's some sort of frequency, connection, exchange of feelings and emotions that are happening. And often the body can pick up things that your mind isn't quite picking up. And so the second dream I had, the guy that I was in a relation with, his grandfather was a mystic. And so I was like laying in bed, I felt really weird. Something wasn't making sense to me. And so I was like, there's something off about this relationship. I need your guidance if you're willing to give it to me. And if you're not, that's cool. No pushy, but it would be helpful. Because apparently his grandfather has a tendency to arrive in dreams. And so I was like, maybe I can call it because we have an intimate connection and that energy stays on you. And so I had a vivid dream that very night. No dream tea, no nothing. And in the dream, do you know the Paleolithic Venus?
No.
She's like big, round. She has these giant breasts. She's like this tiny little head. It's like the caveman Venus.
Okay, I think I can picture it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to Australia, and Australia is important because the last time I was physically with my ex was at a tree garden, and there was an Australian exhibit, and I said, I've always wanted to be in Australia. In fact, my hair that I colored recently was based on a eucalyptus tree that we saw there.
Oh.
I love that tree. And I had just this connection there. So in the dream, I went to Australia and I knew, oh, this is it. This is it. I can tell. And I saw the Paleolithic Venus laying down on the ground, but it was this giant temple in the shape of this Venus.
Okay.
Massive. And I went inside. I went inside her, and inside there was just all of these women and shapes, colors, sizes, red on their faces, dancing, singing, eating food, belly dancing. Like we were having a great old time. Not a single man, no men. And I woke up from that dream and I was like, oh shit, he's going to break up with me because I'm going to have to go back into here. I'm going to have to heal myself and be my best partner. I know this dream. And
Have
it was
you had that dream
interesting.
before?
No. And what was fascinating was, as I was meditating, I was like, should I tell him? And the first thing that came to my mind was, only with your voice. Only with your voice. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to fight that. Okay, that was a quick download. And so I texted him. I was like, I had this crazy dream, and he responded very like, and I said I had a crazy dream and I didn't drink any dream tea. And his response was like, I like dreams without dream tea. And then he dropped it. And I was like, oh, here it is. There it is. And so for 2 days, I grieved knowing what was going to come. And then he finally like let it to rest. And I was like, there it is. But what's crazy, Sapphire, is after I had that moment, I was able to connect it back to the dream I had 3 weeks previous, where I was stabbing people in the heart. And that related kind of to like 3 weeks before. He's like, there was a soft breakup, which is to say it wasn't clear, but it was like, let's just see where things go, And that was the first part of the dream. And then the second part of the dream, where I was embarrassed by my ex, was the actual breakup. And then the earthquake was my life shattered. And then me jumping on a hippogriff, flying away. Well, right now I'm making moves to go to Portland. So, and because in the dream following that his grandfather may have helped produce, granddaddy, it said to go back to be with women. And so I was like, well, there's a lot happening in my family right now with the women in my family. I haven't seen them since this whole thing happened. My stepbrother died tragically last April.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I've healed. Like, my nervous system is so on point that I am able to get through grief within a week. It's crazy at this point. But I realized, I was like, my body already knew what was going to happen. My head hadn't caught up. And I was already processing physically the emotions and the heartbreak and the sadness and the grief, that I'm already at a point now where I've self-soothed and self-healed so powerfully that I'm ready to do what feels right. And the thing that feels right, you always have to like pause and be like, what brings me the greatest ease? And the greatest ease right now is for me to work in Portland and be with my family. Yeah. So.
Wow.
You have a
all
dream?
that from a dream.
2 dreams.
2 dreams.
Very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. But I don't know how long I'll be in Portland. It's probably temporarily, because there's things I still want to do in Los Angeles. But we'll see. We'll see where the dreams lead.
Yeah. Or you grew up in Portland or Oregon, right?
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. And but you lived there like for a while, right? Like a couple years ago for show.
That was my 20s.
Yeah.
My 30s are LA and my 20s are Portland. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like going back. That's I have a question. Also speaking of questions, anyone in the chat, you are always welcome to ask a question at any time. So obviously I've spoken with so many different people about their paranormal stuff, and a very, very common thing for a lot of people who have spoken with people who have passed, it's usually in a dream. And to them, they're like, it's like they know it's not a dream, but it is a dream. It's like a weird, like, in between. Yeah. And there's just like, yeah. And something that I learned recently is that when I did acupuncture for the first time a couple months ago, she asked me if I had vivid dreams. And I was like, yeah, I have vivid dreams literally every night. And to me, I'm like, how is that bad? I was like, is that a bad thing? And she was like, well, in traditional Chinese medicine, they believe that if you are having vivid dreams, you're actually not in the deepest layer of sleep that you can be. So like if you're
Mhm.
in like REM and you're deep sleeping, you don't remember, you don't have a dream because you're so,
Mhm.
so deep in it. But if you're vivid dreaming, then it's like you're not that, you're not there. And so
Mhm.
I kind of like put all these things together and I was like, oh, it's like when you're dreaming, you are operating at like or your brain waves are sort of like in this very wow, I'm not explaining myself well at all. But it's like, I mean, this isn't like a new theory, but like it just made sense to me
Mhm.
hearing all the different theories connected, where it's like you can see ghosts and you can talk to spirits and you can have these like messages come to you when you're dreaming because you're
Mhm.
in that state between like deep sleep and consciousness. Like you're not awake enough to let your brain try to make sense of what's happening. You just let it happen. Like you're just so
Yeah.
open. And I don't know. I think that's
I think there's
really
wisdom
cool.
to that. I think it's really what it boils down to is the way that I look at it is I can't argue whether or not spirits exist, but it's fun to think they do.
You don't think they do?
I would rather live in this creative, beautiful world where they do. That's the thing. Is like a lot of I think witch like I had been thinking about it for a while, like what defines a witch? Like what really makes a witch, a witch, a
Right.
witch, a witch, a witch. And it's a capacity to be creative and play and imagine in a world of science. And you can
Hmm.
still use science. You can still play with science. Like there's definitely herbology involved and like a lot of psychology. I work more in a story crafting position, but at the end of the day, all it is how do you experience reality and what way do you want to experience reality? And
Hmm.
when you're casting quote unquote spells, intentions, mojo bags, all the 9 yards, you're you're actually changing your brain chemistry. There's an art called neuroplasticity, the plasticity,
Hmm.
and it can take only about 62 days to change a former idea or plan or way of thinking. You're
Oh.
literally remolding your brain. And you could do it through hypnosis. You can do it through EMR. You can do it in a whole different method of ways. And spells are another way of doing it because you're literally working and the magic, the smell of the incense, the ritual, all the little steppies. And you are telling your brain and changing an idea and a thought that I will achieve this thing. And then you have the energy of the person who has achieved that thing. And then you will achieve it. That's why young listeners, listeners all around, no love spells. That will
Ooh,
not
no, no, no,
work.
no, 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 no.
You never want to do a love spell because what will happen is you'll become a stalker.
Hmm.
That's all that happens. Self love is different. I mean, stalk
Yeah.
yourself.
I already
But
stalked myself.
that shit is dangerous for a reason
Hmm.
because you're literally telling your brain and your mind and your energy that's going to happen. And maybe it will happen, maybe it won't happen, but at the end of the day, either way, you're obsessed.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy.
Ooh, I mean, something that my cousin told me years and years ago. I think maybe she was in high school. She told
Mm-hmm.
me, I never forgot this. She said that she had a friend who, she called herself a witch, and then she performed a type of spell on herself to be basically be more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about spells is that there always is like a downside to it that you don't like think about. And the downside for her is that it was almost impossible for her to be in public without, everyone staring, cat calling, just literally everything. And what's even worse is like it even made her like attractive to her family members and stuff. So it's just like I don't know. I never forgot that because I was just like, what? So gross.
You have to be very clear. So, like, when I remember I worked on a mojo bag for
Mhm.
money, and I was very clear with my intentions. Like, the first thing I say is, no harm done to anyone, any of my loved ones or anyone around me.
Don't want a monkey paw situation.
Only serve the best. Only the best for everyone's best, and amplifying love for the pure amplification of love. So I'm at a point now in my learning where it's like everything that I do, everything that I curate, it's all for love. And it sounds hokey at first because we're sort of like trained in this, but that's the patriarchy. Ignore that.
And speaking of the patriarchy, I did want to talk about the stuff that you brought up when we were walking. Wait, is that a no?
Yeah, no, it's a yes. I
don't know. For some reason, you're like,
No. I just kind of like pulled back and I thought about it because it's not a conversation I've had since we've talked. So
I have never forgotten it. I think about it every waking moment of my life.
Once you see it, you don't unsee it, Sapphire.
You don't unsee it. So we're gonna, everyone in the chat, get ready because now you're gonna never know this.
Okay, for one, patriarchy does not mean men rule everything. We love men. I love men. I do. And every time I'm like on a date with a man, I'm like, I love men. They're like, are you sure? Like, it's like, no, I love you guys. I love men. Like, so boiling it down to the very beginning and the essence of everything, there is yang and yin. Okay, masculine, feminine, black, white. You can call it sticks and stones. I don't give a fuck. Okay, it's just energy. It's just energy. And Alan Watts says this too. There's zen to it. You can't have go without flow, and you can't have flow without go. You can't have everything without nothing. Death, life. The problem with the patriarchy, what the patriarchy is, as I understand it now, its definition, it's not that men are better than anything. It's that we are obsessed. Patriarchy is obsessed with the idea of yang energy or go energy or life or make or produce. It's like do, structure, create. It's just that. That's why like you have a lot of strong, powerful women who came out, to defeat the world. And they're like, why am I not connecting? Why are we not finding our rights? It's because you're still playing that yang role. We're still obsessed with making sure that you're doing what we want you to do, which is produce, make, create, design, work. All yang energy, yang energy, at the detriment of yin, of femininity. And the thing is that I do believe that, I don't believe in gender. Gender politics are bullshit. But men, physically born men, commonly have more yang attributes than physically born women do. Okay. And then there's like gender fluid, and I'm like, well, God bless you. You can just ride between both energies. I wish I could.
For you.
But
you figured it out.
That's traditionally what happens. And that's why you see so many men in power. That's why you have a hierarchy structure. And I hear the arguments like, yes, but like women in Paleolithic times controlled things. And it's like, that's still a hierarchy. Hierarchy is masculine. This is masculine. When you're on a horizontal plane like this, where there is just balanced leadership, like a true democracy, that is feminine. That's yin energy. But we've been so obsessed with this yang that is what patriarchy is. It's brain, it's making, it's doing, it's fire, it's penetration.
Yeah.
And then, like the other side, the one that's been attacked and is assaulted for so long as like weak, pathetic, it's chillax, it's rest, receiving, to be penetrated. For sexual terms. And so women or feminine identified beings or yin identified beings, however you want to call it, and men too, because like this sucks for dudes too, because they can't tap into their emotions. And so they wall off, they hide, they disappear, and they, as a result, they get ulcers. Like it sucks for them. I really pity them. And so because of this, women are trained to think a certain way to be a woman. Like for us to be fully woman, We need to have a powerful career.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a masculine trait. A feminine trait is just creating. Just create. You're a creatrix. Women are told that they are less unless they have a partner. But that's bullshit. You don't have to have a partner to have love. Love is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Having a partner, having a physical entity that shows that you love, that's masculine. And then what was the other one? Embodiment's another one. You have to look a certain way. No, you don't. Just be in your body. And then the fourth one, you have to have a child. You're not a full woman unless you have a child. No, just create. I already said that one. Powerful career equals, sorry. The counterpoint to career, the counterpoint to career is play.
Mm.
It's play. You don't have to hate what you do. Just play. You live life once. Play. And so because women are taught that we have to hit those 4 boxes, motherhood, have a partner, have a child, strong career, we're not women unless we're women according to what the masculine wants us to be. That's patriarchy.
Mm-hmm. You
can have a kid, sure, that's a beautiful thing. But that's not going to make you a woman. That's just, no, you're already a woman. You were a woman before you had a kid. You were a woman before you had a partner. You were a fully realized woman before any of that shit.
So what does a world where we aren't in a patriarchy look like?
Balanced.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think it's a world where we take only as much as we need. That we learn that for the pleasure that we receive, often we have to receive equal parts suffering. But part of being in that suffering allows us to experience deeper pleasure. We're not fighting our bodies. We're more in tune with ourselves because we're more whole. A world without the patriarchy is a world where people are more whole. If you want to look at it from a cisgendered perspective, men are more in touch with their emotions and they can talk about them more openly without feeling like they're less than, without feeling like they're weak,
mm-hmm.
without feeling like they can't sit in the heartbreak. They can actually move through it with themselves. And then women, as far as women that I know these days, they can stop looking at men and saying, you're trash. Instead, they can look inside themselves and say, I don't need something external to blame for the way that I'm feeling. I can heal myself and I can be my best boyfriend. So in a world without patriarchy, I see a world where people are more whole and in touch with who they truly are, rather than being manipulated and unconsciously controlled by a culture that only serves a tiny little minuscule amount of people.
How do we... I was going to ask, how do we tear down the patriarchy? But I guess that's the...
Oh, it's easy.
Oh, how?
You.
Just within myself?
Seriously. Get more in touch with your body. More embodiment. Like, if your body says no, listen to it. Create. Make. Study. Like, if you really want to get into the specifics, there's so much books that you can read. You can be like, what's feminine? What's masculine? What's yin? What's yang? You know, there's a plethora amount of work. I'm a big fan of my friend Amy Young's work. I think that she breaks it down perfectly. Get curious. Just get curious. Like, if you're feeling sad, or if that guy that you've loved, or all these men, they don't come after you, or you keep attracting unkind partners or avoidant men or whatever. Like, I don't know. I can only speak from the female perspective. Or men attract needy women. Be curious. Like, why is that? And then really get in touch with your fucking self. Especially like men on this channel, or if you have men friends, there's nothing sexier and nothing like a bigger panty dropper than if I hear you're doing therapy. Oh,
it's really attractive to be taking care of your mind.
Emotionally healthy men,
mm-hmm.
Emotionally healthy women, emotionally healthy
everyone. Yeah. It's the best.
That's the way to break down the patriarchy. You can't strike it with violence. That's already masculine. You have to literally go inside and be like, why am I scared? Where is this coming from? And what can I do to really self-soothe and take care of my nervous system so that I know I have my own back? Because right now we're walking around and we don't trust ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the core problem. We do not trust ourselves. We're so disconnected from ourselves, and our bodies don't trust us either. Yeah. They're like, you're killing me. You're not listening to me. I just want to sit down with some tea. I don't want to smoke that pot. I don't want to drink that drink. This doesn't feel good. Listen to me, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes. Oh, it changes everything. Because once you have that within you and your body really trusts you, and you have that relationship with you, not an external source, not your boyfriend, not your partner, not your blah, 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 blah. Like a dog helps. I love dogs. But with you. And you really learn to cultivate a loving adventure with you because you are all you got. Then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I don't like that I see Black bodies getting murdered. I don't like that I hear about women getting hysterectomy. This is not comfortable and I don't like sitting in this. What can I do to change it? And then you listen to your body signals and you actually do the fucking thing that's making you, so that you stop being uncomfortable rather than ignoring it and then getting more uncomfortable later. That's how you take the structure. It's inside. Jesus said it. Rumi said it. Like, I have been studying nothing but wise men and wise women. They're all like, yo, you cannot change other people, but you can change how you react to other people.
That is the basis of therapy. Because, like, the whole point of it is, like, you are seeking help and then you learn that you can control how you react to situations. Mm-hmm. And then that way you don't get so angry that, you know, things aren't going your way or whatever.
And it's practice. You got to be gentle on yourself. The first few times you might be really reactive with people. And then over time, you're at a place where it's like, oh, thanks, 34, I like pie. And then you get to a point where you're like, someone can be very unkind to you, someone that you loved. And you're able to finally, once you're really in touch with your nervous system, be like, I can only react with love. Because often when people are being unkind or cruel, they're doing it from a place because they themselves are suffering. And they're trying to create a reaction from you to justify their unkindness towards you. Mm-hmm. And it's an ugly loop. But the only way to break it is within. You gotta turn the other cheek and be like, I still love you. But I mean, don't be a victim. Like, boundaries are important. Like, if someone's being unkind and you're like, I still love you, why you do this? I walk away.
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I do like the title witch that you give me, like White Witch, just because, like, it's all about healing. And I'm always like saying, yo, the medicine, you have it all. You don't, I mean, I've heard arguments for medication, do what you will. Every person has their journey. I'm not here to fight you, attack you, assault you, but I'm just giving you another tool in your arsenal because life is hard. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't.
It's true.
Yeah. It's a playground. Let's play.
Yeah.
Let's have more fun.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think, like, especially the last year, me and Elliot have been seriously considering, like, hey, maybe we don't want to live in LA forever. Like, we're looking at, like, other countries to move to. I mean, I know that it's, like, probably difficult to move to some, like, in the next year just because of, like, the pandemic and, like, whatever. But, like, we're seriously thinking, like, I don't know. I mean, you also work in Hollywood, and it's just kind of like you get to a point where you're like, what am I doing here?
Listen to your body. Because
you
the
know,
thing is that we've been like screwed this idea since inception that to make it, you got to work really, really. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that worked for you, dude. I've never met.
Yeah.
But there's other ways to have a beautiful, fruitful, rich, delicious, exciting life and still have your success. I just don't have to follow your damn model dude with his wife and 2 kids who lives in suburbia and is pasty white as fuck. Like, every life is unique.
Yeah. And I think I'm, what's the word? I don't know. I don't know what I want to say. I was gonna say something, but I guess like the thought, I like, just a lot of stuff has happened the last couple of years where I'm just kind of like, I mean, like, it's weird because it's like I am currently right now in a state of like hustling. But I do look at it and I go like, I don't know. I feel like, well, I don't know. Wow, I'm not making any sense. Like, I feel like everything I'm doing, like, I'm trying to this is like my life goal. I want to lay down a foundation. Like, I'm cool with like working really, really hard right now, like while I'm still young and healthy, laying a good foundation for myself so that I can fucking chill later.
Sapphire,
Like, I want to pay off all my debt. I want to, like, what?
You want to do a quick exercise?
Sure. I'm scared. I was kidding.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Man, I scared the fuck out of so many men I've dated. Like, I don't mean to. I think it's because I'm just like so sharp with a lot of what I've learned and like in tune with my emotions. There's that sometimes they're like, okay, we didn't expect this, but you're my friend for a reason. So,
okay,
just drop in. So, how old are you right now, if you mind my asking?
I turned 32 on Monday.
Yes, you youthful baby, you. So, when you're 40, what makes you feel good? Like, thinking about it. The very thing, like, being surrounded by, I don't give a fuck what you're doing, your career, Elliot, life. Like, what is just like, this is juicy, and I am going to have that. I'm having that.
I want to be living in New Zealand on a giant plot of land with a house and a bunch of dogs.
But do you believe that you can have that?
Yeah. I just don't want it like in the immediate future.
So this is the next step. This is the next step. So you have that. That's your dream. That's your thing. That's your rich, juicy pie.
Yeah.
So whenever you come across a step or an opportunity or a thing, this is when you tap into your body. So like, let's
say like, is that gonna lead me to that?
Yes, and it's not just like tapping where it's like, oh, I feel butterflies. No. If there's butterflies or anxiety, sometimes I'm like, okay, get real curious because that might be a bad thing.
Yeah,
I do not date men if I get like butterflies. It's like there's something bad here. So instead, tap into ease. Like if you suddenly find your body like relaxed, like, oh, someone's just offered me like this juicy thing. Oh, someone just gave me a trip to New Zealand. Oh, I just got this opportunity to move there so suddenly. Like, I don't know, man. But pay attention to your body. Don't do. Like, what does your body feel like? Is it like? And then imagine you being there at that time or whatever, like voice recording, working on your projects. Tap in, and then it'll be like, yeah. If it's like, yeah. That means you're on the right road.
Okay.
I kid you not. And it's easy, like the way that I've learned this art is because it's being in flow. Like you're not running against the paddle. You're like, no, this is right. This is right. This is right. I learned this art because I date too much.
That's true. It's like you have practice like listening to like how your body feels when you meet someone and like when you talk to someone.
And over the trajectory of relationship. And like, I'm so sensitive now to my body's signals that like, at this point, I know if someone's going to really leave me within 3 weeks. And it gives my body even time enough to adjust and heal. So I'm like up on my feet, like, okay, what's next? And that's a hard place to be. Okay. Don't get me wrong. It took a lot of training. But there's nothing more difficult than human connection. You see?
Yeah.
It's easy. There's nothing easier and nothing more difficult. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, just like when you're doing something or when you see a step in that direction, your career, New Zealand, the juicy, don't lose sight of your authenticity. Like what you want.
Yeah.
And then ask, like, does this thing that's being offered to me bring me to the thing that I want? And then your body will be like, yes, or no.
Right.
It'll let you know every time. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more comfortable doing that now, as opposed to like maybe 5 years ago where like my career was still starting out. Cause like when you're younger and you're like newer, it's easy to say yes to everything because you're like, you want all the opportunities. You're trying to like, da 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 da.
Of course,
and then what ends up happening. Yeah. But now I'm like, I turn
now
down
you're
all the
like,
time. Now I'm like, I know. Yeah. I'm like, I whittled down. Like, I know. I mean, there's maybe like one thing I'm doing right now where I'm like, if I could drop it, I would. But it's the one thing that's like paying my bills. So I'm like, I kind of need it. But like for the most part, like everything I'm doing, I'm like, no, all of this like satisfies something. Like I really enjoy my teaching job. I really enjoy doing the travel channel stuff. I'm like, what else do I do? I feel like I do a lot. Oh, a couple stuff I can't like publicly say it.
Yeah.
I do too much, but I like all of it. So it's like I want to get to a point where, like, because right now my body's telling me it's okay, do all the things.
Okay.
But I want to hopefully get to a point where my body's like, okay, just focus on this one thing and drop all the other shit. But right now it's like, no, just do all of it.
And your body knows. Your body knows. The body always knows. That's why I always like, it's good to have role models and expanders and whatever. Oh, thank you, 34. I like high. I'm not professional, so grain of salt. I'm still very reactive. Yeah, you're doing it right, girl. Like you're so in tune now. And
much more than before, yeah.
That's like where I'm at right now is I just want to like, especially the youth, I just want to give them the secret right now. And like, I've heard of the story of manifestation and attraction, what have you, but I'm like of the school of thought where it's like, the universe isn't going to fucking bend to your wish and whim. I'm sorry. The universe is like a 4-year-old kid who's like, no, I want to play Barbies. Are we going to play Barbies or not? Like
the universe forces you into what you're like supposed to do. I think
true authenticity, who you are at your seed and your core. You're like who you fully, deeply are, and you like the thing that makes you comfortable, like makes you happy, and you really want it, and you tap into the energy of what that truly feels like. The universe is like, yeah, that's who you are.
Yeah. It only feels like a struggle if you are lying to yourself, essentially. Like, I mean, maybe I don't. Someone I know, someone close to me, has had this issue for like, I don't know, almost the entire time I've known her, and I've known her a very long time, where it's just kind of the same conversations over and over again of like, I feel lost. I feel like I don't know if I have passion for stuff. And it's like she does have passion for stuff, but she's lying to herself about what it is because she's assigning meaning to all these things and being like, well, no, I can't do that because I want this and this and this.
Probably because she already put so much investment into those things that to drop it would be terribly uncomfortable for her because we're taught that there needs to be return.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's kind of like I love using relationship and connection and all things just because to me the universe is just the art of relating, of different objects and science and chemistry relating, and same with human interaction. It's all just relating, connection, and the intimate relationships especially. And so I think about it where one thing that kind of was like this beautiful highlight relating back to your story was I was like, why don't we celebrate breakups the same way that we celebrate relationships.
Or divorces.
Why don't we do that?
It should be a joyous thing.
People would be able to connect better with each other because they wouldn't be so fearful of the breakup. They'd be like, oh, it didn't work out. We are able to stand in integrity with each other, have this container together where we can both grieve, appreciate what we had, say that we loved who we were, and then we can walk away. But because we're so re-traumatized from breakups done wrong, because we don't have models of how to do it correctly in a healthy and beautiful way, we're constantly like opening the same fucking scars over and over again. So it's like we're just like going to repeat that pattern again and again and again until we're able to finally come to terms with full love and appreciation and be like, I learned, it didn't work, and I'm thankful that we're parting, and I'm so thankful for the lessons and the beauty that I gleaned from this experience because I do love you. And I'm going to be able to carry that love of what I know I want more into a better connection. Or not a better connection, a connection that's best for me, for the person that I am becoming now that this one has ended.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of relates to your friend's experience. It's like investment, investment, investment. And if there's not that positive return, like when someone's investing everything in a relationship and then it breaks up, it's like,
right.
whoa.
Then it's like you feel like, who am I now?
Who am I now? But the thing is that you need to tap into your body. If your body says no, that means that the investment's already lost. And you need to we only have so much time on this planet, you know? And I mean, okay, reincarnation, like whatever you want to believe in, like at the end of the day, I only get to be Alyx once.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my story to be crystal clear about appreciating, loving, even loving the suffering of it. So that I can look back and be like, yeah. You know, instead of being like, I invested 20 years of my life in this dude who turned out to be bad, and I knew all along. Like, yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to end because I do need to wrap it up.
Don't want a tarot reading?
What? I don't know why I yelled that.
I said, you
do you want to give me a reading? Yay! Okay, we got to do it quick though.
Okay. Did your audience have any questions?
I don't think anyone has. No one's really asked anything. But if they do, I'll let you know.
Thank you. I know I'm just like, free. You gotta go? No. This is my hour. Okay, tell me when to stop and I'll stop.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. So do you want to do, which reading do you want to do?
Hang on, let me think of what I want to ask.
Okay.
What was it? The past, present, future, or the problem, obstacle, solution?
Yes.
Let's do past, present, future.
I love past, present, future. Okay. So let's see here. Oh. I'm like the worst tarot reading. I just create more anxiety.
Oh, wait, somebody asked, where can you follow Alyx? You can follow her here.
Yeah, you can follow all of my comics about me trying to find true love.
Yeah. And what's your other one?
Alyxs Dreams. Yeah, that's just my private life. I'm really bad at branding. But I have a lot of wisdom on the Alyxs Designs one and the Romancing Alyx. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
I'm ready.
This is you in the past.
Oh, of course it is.
Overwhelmed with thoughts, can't sleep. What the fuck is happening? Like, yeah. That's no surprise. Me. But I love pulling this one out for your present.
Oh my God, what is it?
Your favorite card?
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Oh, two
Let's see.
nines.
I actually, yeah, I've been pulling her for B a lot recently too.
Hmm.
Okay. And then for the future, looks like you're going to be putting to rest a lot of those thoughts. No, it's fine.
I mean, it's just always a really striking card when I get.
I know, but it really all it is just like you can chill the fuck out and stop thinking.
Yeah.
It might be applying more of that body wisdom we were talking about. Because the swords, it's just all thoughts. It's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's thoughts.
That's true.
So it's just saying that you're going to take a step back and chill. Yeah. So it might be that you're so exhausted, you just give up.
I see that, yeah.
Or it might just be that you're just like, you know what, fuck it. And you just like lay face down on your pavement.
I just give up. I surrender.
Yeah. You know what? That's the art, is surrender. Yeah.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah. Is learning to surrender. It's the hardest thing in the world. Because we always have to be in control of everything, but no, not really.
I'm now seeing how that might relate to something that happened today. Like I got an email and I didn't know how to respond to it. And I feel like this reading makes me go, yeah, I think I know how to respond now.
I'm so glad I know. You see?
Alyx.
This is fun. I hope that your audience got some help this way. Yeah.
I hope so too. I know we mentioned it already, but Alyx, where can people find you?
You can find me on Romancing Alyx on Instagram. I also have Romancing Alyx on TikTok. And then Alyx Designs, just regular. I'll do a better branding strategy in my future, but right now I don't care. I'm just kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to go, honestly. It's just like, I personally hate trying.
You're good at it.
She's like, you got to be consistent. I'm like, fuck consistency.
You're good at it. Yeah. You whatever you're doing works.
I guess. But that's my problem is that like I get bursts of inspiration and then I like move on to something, which is like not a good thing. No, see, this is the thing. It's like the what do you call it? That's what they keep telling you. They're like, you got to do it this one way, and it's like, why can't I just
no.
want to do?
Okay, that's another thing about the patriarchy. Like again, that male model is like the male model is literally this like 8-hour workday type thing. You get it done, but the female system is very different because we ovulate all that shit. Like suddenly we'll have this burst of energy and we're up all night for 2-3 days straight, and we don't know where the fuck it comes from, and then we crash. But the thing is that that's just the way our systems work, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different way of operating in the world.
We're set up to fail in this society
in the patriarchy, absolutely. And that's why I'm trying to educate more people about what the patriarchy is. It's not that we hate men. We don't hate men. No one hates men. We love them. They're so delicious. But yes, like
on its own schedule. I like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Alyx, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so sorry we can't keep talking, but I gotta keep doing my freelance stuff. I would love to have you back on later on this year if you are free and want to come back.
Of course. We'll see what wisdom I've learned from them. Like I'm always having these breakthroughs.
I know. I love it.
Yeah. It feels good. Okay, babe. I'm going to see you. I guess I see you later.
Don't log off yet.
Okay.
Just saying bye for the video. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. G Hadel 2434. I like pie. Who else stuck around? Anime Geek 124. Food overdue. Fare thee well.